After Japan succeeded in the post-war period, including under the umbrella of American military protection, everyone was impressed. But now, it's become an option as Japan's defense has come under pressure due to North Korea's nuclear ambitions and China's growing aggressiveness with more than 3,000 active aircraft. Also, a crazed neighbor in the form of the Russian Federation, which unleashed a war in Ukraine, only adds fuel to the fire and makes the Japanese wonder if they'll be next, as the issue of the Kuril Islands remains open to the Japanese. All this has forced them to demonstrate their military potential, in particular by introducing a new 6th-generation fighter jet designed to outperform the US F-35 and keep them safe from the Chinese Air Force. When it comes to technology, research, and development, Japan immediately comes to mind. This country is considered a leading global player in the field of composite materials and radar, and its achievements are no longer surprising. Their latest fighter jets with ASA radar and air-to-air guided missiles are achieving what the United States and Russia are still trying to achieve. Recently, Japan unveiled a flight prototype of its new 6th-generation fighter jet, referred to as the FX, and sometimes the F3. According to Defense Minister Taro Kono, the goal is for the aircraft to be stealthy, network-oriented, and capable of carrying more missiles than the F-35. The FX is expected to be a generation ahead of the F-35 and a serious competitor to the stealth fighters of China and Russia. However, although the basic design is already ready, we have to wait until 2024 to see the prototype and another 4 years after that to see its first flight. Serial production of the FX is scheduled for 2031 after testing, and in the mid-2030s, the Japanese Air Force will receive 90 new stealth fighters to replace the outdated F-2. The cost of each of these fighters is very high and can reach 20 billion yen, which is equivalent to 179 million US dollars. The total cost of the FX program will be about $45 billion. Japan also plans to buy 200 F-35 aircraft worth about $23 billion from Lockheed Martin. However, the question is whether the Japanese defense sector will be able to successfully cope with two expensive purchases at the same time. What motivations push Japan to purchase expensive FX fighters and additional squadrons of imported F-35s? What features make the FX the best 6th-generation fighter? Let's take a closer look at these questions. Japan has already worked under license on a number of the best American fighters, such as the F-4E Phantom, F-15 Eagle, and F-16, as well as on highly modified models such as the Mitsubishi F-2 and F-35A Lightning II. All of these aircraft are still in service with the country's Air Force, and all of them, with the exception of the F-35, have undergone significant modifications that clearly distinguish them from the original American design. Despite these technical advantages, Japan has developed its own 6th-generation air-to-air fighter, which is the first combat aircraft of its class to be produced in Japan since World War II. It's superior to the US F-35, China's J-20, and Russia's Su-27, which became possible after decades of searching for a high-end 6th-generation air-to-air fighter. Japan's initial plan was to acquire the US F-22 Raptor for this role, but an export ban and production halt dashed their hopes for a significant early modernization. As a result, Japan developed its own 5th-generation aircraft with several notable differences from the US F-22. The Japan project, which included a sophisticated XF-91 engine and a 3D vectoring aircraft that resembled the Russian Su-57, seemed to be headed in the right direction. But after the first flight of Mitsubishi Heavy Industries' X2 Shinshin prototype in 2016, all news and information about the program disappeared. Some argue that the Shinshin X2 may be related to the FX program, but this program is a completely new concept for a next-generation fighter jet. The FX, which has 2 engines, is distinguished by its technological superiority, including remote drone control capabilities, a virtual reality-style helmet display, and radar that can work as a microwave weapon to destroy enemy missiles. The engine will be designed to share sensor data with Japanese and American forces and will have enough weight for at least 6 internal weapons, such as air-to-ground missiles and anti-ship missiles. However, the main purpose of this fighter will be air combat. The FX design concept involves the use of electrically controlled control surfaces, a fiber optic flight control system, and air intakes with serpentine and rectilinear profiles to reduce radar range and heat radiation. Japan aims to make the aircraft as invisible as possible by using electromagnetic wave absorbers, metamaterials, ionized gas, or plasma to reduce the radar range. All these measures are added to the development of this project. The Army plans to make the FX lightweight by using heat shields and integrated bonded structures made of composite materials. This will allow the aircraft to fly long distances and be based with flexible deployment on the central Japanese islands. Using the common basic design of the combat support unmanned aircraft, each FX aircraft can operate up to 3 drones, which can be equipped with either sensor platforms or missile launchers. Unmanned aerial vehicles can improve FX's future capabilities and reduce the vulnerability of manned aircraft to enemy attacks. Japan plans to develop stealth fighters and is not alone in working on this domestic program. According to Japanese officials, the American companies Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman are the main international partners in this project. They were chosen because of their extensive experience in developing fifth-generation fighters such as the F-22 and F-35. Base Systems and Boeing were also candidates for the project, but the choice was made in favor of Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. Lockheed Martin will advise on their radar-absorbing materials and other materials to reduce the radar cross-section. Northrop Grumman will help with the development of sensor and networked warfare technologies that are already widely used in their jet aircraft. Mitsubishi Electric will focus on the development of mission systems and electronic warfare capabilities, including jamming for self-defense. Japan has conducted its own research on integrated fire control, which allows for high-speed data transmission for fighter jets. This will allow Japanese and possibly American fighters to combine their sensors and increase the accuracy of missiles beyond visual range. IHI Corporation has been testing XF-91 low-bypass turbofan jet engines since 2018 using exotic materials to reduce their size and increase their heat resistance to 1800 degrees Celsius. The FX-91s have a thrust of up to 12 tons or up to 16.5 tons with afterburners, which is less than the F-119 engines on the F-22 Raptor fighter jets. However, the XF-91s are different in that they're thinner and generate 180 kilowatts of power each, which is superior to any American fighter. Japan has also tested thrust vectoring nozzles for the XF-91, which allows for extremely tight maneuvers. This thrust vectoring engine feature has been very effective in other fighter models such as the US F-22, the Russian Su-30 and Su-35, and the Chinese J-10 and J-20 fighters. Toshiba and the Fujitsu Group will lead the electronics industry by developing and manufacturing the gallium nitrate-based ASA radar for the FX, which will also be used as a microwave weapon against incoming missiles. The radar will be complemented by an infrared sensor and an electronic support sensor, or ESM. Subaru will be responsible for developing the landing systems for the FX. Although its main focus is the production of automobiles, the company's aerospace division has been creating wings and landing gear components for the Boeing 777. This suggests that the Japanese FX will be one of the most powerful sixth-generation fighters thanks to the efforts of the Subaru team. Even as it builds its new fighter, Japan's investing more than $23 billion in Lockheed Martin's F-35B and F-35A program, which includes 2 squadrons of stealth fighters. Such large expenditures, along with investments in the FX program, indicate that the Japanese government will face significant costs. However, there is an understanding of this decision. Japan has many remote islands that are of significant strategic value and could be vulnerable to attack by China. Because of this, the F-35B will be used not only to fly from the new light aircraft carriers, but also to take off and land on these islands to ensure the protection of Japanese territory across the East China Sea up to the border of Taiwan's airspace. The F-35B's new single-engine power plant combines a rotary engine nozzle with a fan that blows a jet of air downward and allows the fighter to take off after a short run. This is the main reason why many countries that operate small aircraft and do not have catapults purchase this model for use on ships. However, this short takeoff capability is also useful on land, so the F-35B can fly away from short runways on remote islands. The F-35B is planned to be used on light aircraft carriers of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Forces and small runways of the Okinawa and Sakishima Island groups. However, due to the complexity of the machine, the F-35B requires a high level of maintenance, and therefore island airfields must be staffed with a significant number of personnel with auxiliary equipment ready to service them. Accordingly, it's expected that the new fighter jet will also perform defense missions. After watching the video, we hope you enjoyed it, and if you learned something new, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any new videos. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.